Okay, so what I'm going to do in this tutorial is talk about how to use the built-in login components that come with ASP.NET in Visual Studio. In order to teach you this, however, I'm not going to carry on using the mobile standard site for now. I'm just going to purely create a completely new project so that we can just concentrate exactly purely on the login stuff first, and then once we've understood that, then we'll apply that login stuff to the mobile standard site. Okay. Now, there are a number of ways of implementing login. You could do it all in a custom fashion, but as I say, ASP.NET does have a lot of very useful components, built-in components for you. So let's create a new project, and all we'll do is just do a project now, the simplest project we can, which is just going to show how to use some authentication in it. Okay, so now what we've got here is a web application with one page called default.aspx. If we click onto the design panel, all I'm going to do is just type in something like here is some content. Okay, now imagine this is a website, and this can stand for virtually all the content that's going to be in the website. Okay, what we want to do is we want to imagine that is highly useful content, highly valuable content, and we want to hide it unless people have logged in. Okay, so let's kind of first of all, the first thing we need to do before we do anything is to open the web config file. Okay, so if you right click on web config and choose open, okay, what you get is a large XML file. I'll hide the toolbar for now to give us more space. A large XML file which essentially controls how the website will work. Now, one of the most important parts of it is this section here called authentication. Now, by default, it is set to a mode called Windows Authentication, meaning that if you, the user, have access to this computer in which the website is, then you will be allowed to use the website. You'll be allowed to see the website. Okay. However, that is not much use if you're producing a website which is for the general public. Okay, what you need to do is to change this from being authentication mode Windows to authentication mode Forms. Okay, that is a let's click save as well at this point. That is the way. Once you've done that, that means that this website becomes a website whose access to which is controlled by an internal database. Okay. Now let's go back into our project. Now, what we want to do is we want to not allow anyone to actually see the content until they've logged in. So first of all, let's create a login page. So let's click add new item, and we're going to call this item, it's going to be a web form, and we're going to call it login.aspx. Okay. So once you've done that, we can then click on the design view, and we can see it in design. Let's now see our toolbar again. So let's view all toolbox. Okay. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look down the list of controls a little, and you'll see you'll come to a part which says login. Okay. Now login is we've got loads of wonderful components which can make things extremely easy for you. Okay, and the first one is a component called login status. Okay, login status. Well, let's just take it hold of it and just drag it into our page. Okay, now then, login status is just a thing we can add to a page which will allow us to display certain things if the user is logged out, and other things if the user is logged in. Okay, now a moment, what we're most interesting is if the user is logged out, which is what they typically will be if they've not yet seen the website. So let's keep it on logged out, and then on top of that, what we're going to do is going to drop a login on top of it. So we go over to that point and then drop directly on top of it our login page. Okay, so if we click on that, okay, now then, here This is where the user can type in their username and be able to gain access to the site. Now let's click on the thing. It says auto format. This is where you can actually set the actual visual appearance of the login control. Okay, so I'm going to set it to sort of maybe simple there. Okay, so I click OK, and then now I've got the login control in kind of simple, in a simple look. Okay, so let's just have a look what that looks like to the user. So if I click on Start Debugging to run to start Firefox in my case. So it says modify to the config to allow debugging. Click OK, and then eventually the browser should come up, and in it, we should be able to see the login page. Hopefully, it's just very slow when it first starts up. So. Yes, when it's first starting up, it's doing quite a lot of work behind the scenes, and this is what explains why it's actually taking a very long time to show, and also the fact that I've got a virus checker on my machine. But anyway, what happens is, as you see here, we get the login page appears. Okay, into it, I can type in a username, sort of like ABC. The password, this won't work, ABC_123. That won't work because we've not created any users as yet. Okay, and it won't. It'll basically not let us in because nothing will have been clicked on. Okay, more if like no user will have been created. So that is essentially how easy it is to create the simple login form. The next thing we need to do, as you say there, now so my login was unsuccessful, please try again. The next thing we've got to do now is configure it such that successfully logging in should take me to the content page. So that's what I'm going to do next.